right, now I think she's turning to another experiment. So much for water.
For example, in a weightless environment, we can have more evenly distributed and bigger semiconducting crystal for the basic research of materials. And by comparing the differences between Earth and sky and space, we can optimize the procedures on the ground. For example, the cold atomic clock will be more stable in frequency, and it can also be used for the future high-precision satellite navigation positioning system. In a word, the space technology's development and application has been penetrated into our lives, and I believe in the future we can have more scientific research and utilize the space resources to benefit mankind. Do you have more questions? We will be very glad to communicate with you.
The Q&A period. The teacher has completed all the experiments, and students on the ground are raising their questions.
Good morning. And I would like to know if this water is brought by you from the ground or recycled in the space. Can this water be recycled for the use?
Actually, water in space can be very expensive. NASA, for example, has this program to convert body fluid, for example, sweat and urine, even into drinking water.
All this drinking water in Tiangong, in Shenzhou, is brought from the Earth, and in space, recycling of resources is very important. It requires advanced technologies and very comprehensive design. Therefore, for this short-time trip,
social issue, how do we use energy and all these environmental resources wisely for young generations? You can see in a very limited space, we do need to consider all these consequences of waste.
We now have very advanced cargo ships transporting crews and supplies to the space stations. However, it's still very expensive, and space, I mean, outer space is huge, but the space inside the module is a luxury.
Okay, do you have more questions?
And now we're seeing a question period from students on the ground to teachers 300 kilometers above Earth. And we're watching this live broadcast, and that's made possible by a series of communication satellites. For example, the Tianlian relay communication satellites.
During these few days, we did not see any space garbage, but we all know that they do exist. Although the chances for them to collide with the module is very low, but they are very large in amount. So if the collision happens, the consequences will be grave. Therefore, before the launching, we had a pre-analysis for this space garbage, and we also made relative preventive measures to ensure our safety. Thank you.
And any other questions? If you've just joined us, we're watching a live coverage of China's first lecture from space. And now students are raising their questions to the teacher astronaut. Now she's referring that question to the commander of the Shenzhou 10 mission, Nie Haisheng. In space, the astronauts will suffer from weightlessness, noise, and a cramped space. Weightlessness may lead to the cardiovascular disorder, bone loss, and muscular atrophy. To reduce negative impacts, we sometimes do physical exercises, use medicines, and adjust our body liquid. And we also brought with us some equipment like penguin suit and the spring exerciser and bicycle ergometers. And this small table is adjusted from a bicycle ergometer, and then later we can reorganize it and make it a bicycle that is suitable to be exercised in space.
Really, to become an astronaut requires intensive training and rigorous selection process. It's almost tougher than anything most of us would ever experience.
And do you enjoy any view different from what you can see on the Earth? Do the stars twinkle? And do you see the UFOs? It's an interesting question. Yes, indeed, an interesting question. Through the window, we can see the beautiful Earth and the sun, the moon, and the stars, but we haven't seen the UFO. As we are now in the outer space, without the atmosphere, we can see the stars are shining brightly, but they do not twinkle. And in the absence of the atmospheric dispersion, we do not see the blue sky, but the dark black sky. And also something very interesting. We can see 16 times of sunrises and sunsets because we orbit around the Earth every 90 minutes. Thank you.
Well, astronauts in space would have to follow Beijing time during their journeys. Otherwise, time or a day, the concept of a day in space can be very abstract. Because she just said that they usually experience 16 sunrises in the period of 24 hours. So following Beijing time is probably the best and easiest way for them to keep track of time.
And thank you for your blessing. And I also would like to say to you, I hope you can study hard and learn more knowledge to contribute to the Chinese dream. The deep universe is a place full of secrets, and exploration is a never-ending journey. Let's work hard to that end. The space dream always carries some weight, and the science dream will always come true. Goodbye, dear students.
All right.